Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called Can't Give a Discount. I sell cars. I also work for a very corporate-run dealership that has a lot of rules. And depending on the level of management, their ability to discount varies. I've also been with this dealer for a really long time, so I know how to play the game. It can be a pain at times, but if you learn how to play your cards right, you can take advantage of their rules. Now we have a specific rule. Once a new car hits 90 days, we start doing two things. We offer a bonus to the salesperson who sells it. And we discount the car to move it. The idea is that we want to move our old inventory first. So I'm chilling and I get a call. A guy is on a business trip and says he sees we got a truck he likes. I look it up and notice it's been on our lot for over 140 days. It doesn't have a clearance discount on it. I give him the price and he asks me if I have any wiggle room since it's a 2020 and not a 2021. I say, would $500 do it? He counters me roughly another $200 to bring it below a certain price point. I ask if I agree, will you give me a deposit right now? He agrees. So I say, let's do it, you have a deal. Now, the reason why I said $500 is because I know it's the maximum amount my sales manager can discount a vehicle without approval. When he countered me above that, I knew it was going to be a fight to get the deal accepted. But I figured giving a customer a $700 discount is better than giving him a $2,000 clearance discount. We do the deal, he signs it, I send the deal up for approval. My manager yells at me, tells me I can't do the discount. I explain that it is an aged unit, it's supposed to have a clearance discount and it doesn't. So we should just do it. He says the customer has to agree to a higher price. Fine, I'll talk to him. So I walk outside, play on my phone, answer some emails, come back and go. The customer says honor the deal or refund him his money. The manager says can't do it, refund the money, and I say okie dokie. I don't refund the money, but I drop the unit back in stock. I called up a higher level manager and pointed out that he screwed up and didn't do anything about this aged inventory. He thanks me for pointing it out and says we'll do $1,500 off and see how quickly it sells. I asked, what about a bonus? He goes, if you sell it, I'll give you a $150 bonus. So I say, fantastic. Now I work for a dealer that doesn't pay me a percentage but a set amount per car. So this discount isn't cutting into my commission. I call the customer up and I say, hey Mr. Customer, I didn't notice it, but this morning the truck you did a deposit on was included in a clearance list. I'm going to give you the clearance discount and your price is now approximately $800 lower. The customer is super happy, thinks I'm the best guy ever. And I'm smiling cause I just made an extra $150. Later that afternoon my manager comes in and goes, did you drop that truck back in stock? I said, no. The customer is going to buy it. And he goes, oh, he agreed to a higher price? I smile and say, nope, I got a clearance discount on it. My manager smirks at me and goes, you got a bonus too, didn't you? I smiled and said, sure did. The next story is called You Can Just Dump Them. This all happened a few years back when I was in high school. I was distributing bundles of weekly advertising brochures around our neighborhood as a means to earn some spending money. What is important to note is that I did not work directly for the company that made these bundles. Instead, there was a middleman who was also paid by the company and who oversaw multiple neighborhoods in my area. When I got my first stack of bundles, in total this would be around 80 kg of paper, I noticed that I had a lot of leftover after doing my round. This is because here in the Netherlands you cannot put advertisements in someone's mailbox when they have a no advertisement sticker on it. I informed the middleman of this, asking if I could tell him how many bundles were left over and if he could make sure I got less of them. His response was that I would need to do a check of the stickers on my route and report the exact addresses of those who did not want to receive the advertisements. I realized that this would cost me a lot of time and asked if this would be paid. His response was that I would not get paid for this. And also that my total pay would also decrease as I would be delivering fewer bundles. But then he said, you can also just dump them in the paper trash, that also works. I'm guessing that he preferred that option. It would save him some administrative work, and because he probably also would have his earnings lowered by the main company when the surplus would be reported. This would probably also spark some questions as to the situation on the other routes he was responsible for. So doing as he told me, once a month when the paper trash was collected, I put the leftovers in the bin, and that was that. Sometimes our own bin would be too full, so I would put them in another bin that was already on the street. As we do not pay per rate that is collected, this would not hurt the neighbors at all. This went on for about a year without any problems. The company, and especially this dude, were huge pains. They were delivering far too late for me to complete my route. And they were forgetting when I was not available. So they had to pick up all the bundles from my house again after delivering them to me. And then they were getting mad because they forgot that I was not available. One day, my neighbors also starting working for this company and this dude, and they noticed some bundles in the trash. They told this dude, and here it comes. He blocked my pay and said I was fired immediately. The part that I was fired actually was fine with me. I quit 2 weeks prior, so I only had 2 weeks to go, so I got out sooner than I expected, which was nice. But the part about blocking my pay annoyed me. He said that I violated the rules, but I pointed out that I just followed his rules. After some messaging back and forth, he did not reply for a while. That's when I decided to dial up the main company, who were in charge of paying out the salaries. I explained the whole story, including my instruction to dump the bundles. They apologized and made sure I was paid out. When I told this to the middleman, he was quite upset. I can only imagine the amount of crap he must have gotten from the main company for his behavior. I know that my neighbors had to do a check of all addresses after I left. So he probably had everyone do the check and saw his pay fall by a considerable margin. The last story is called "Would $40,000 cover it?" Back in the days before the 56K modems, I worked for the engineering department of a growing company. This company had started small. It was privately owned, and the vice presidents had all put in a portion of their own money to start the company. By this time in the story, they were finally making a respectable 30 to 40 million a year in profits. But they still acted like a small company, penny pinching. Our engineering department was designing circuit boards with embedded computer systems. And to program these, instead of soldering the microcomputer to the board, we would solder on a microcontroller socket. And then we would plug in an in-circuit emulator that would pretend it was a microcontroller and allow the programmer to create the required program. This in-circuit emulator, or ICE, was made by Hitachi. It plugged into a free PCI slot on your PC and had a ribbon cable that would attach to the specialized microcontroller die that plugged into the socket. It was a mess, it gave our tiny IT department headaches, and it cost $15,000. And it was an absolute necessity for most of our most popular product lines, and there was only one of them. And we were renting it. It cost $4,000 a month. The first month we had it, our CTO and marketing vice president planned our whole new product line around this family of microcontrollers. So at the end of the month, us engineers asked management to buy this for us, since we would be using it for a while. The engineering vice president saw the price tag and told us to just rent it. Surely we would be done with it soon. Engineers, being practical, forgot about the objection and just put our noses to the wheel. The CTO and marketing made plans to keep us busy using this microcontroller line for a while. They pre-ordered a few million chips. After a year, the vice president of finance asked about this recurring contract line item. They called the engineer who had originally started the contract. The engineer helpfully forwarded the approval from the engineering vice president and his later email asking to buy it, and the vice president's reply where he demurred. By the end of the week, this toy was ours. Along with a second one, since finance determined that product rollout was being affected by not enough access to the equipment. Hitachi just gave us the first one. They stopped charging us and never asked for it back. We paid $15,000 for a second one. No one got fired or demoted. But at the next department meeting, the engineering vice president tried to tell us that we didn't have enough money to upgrade our PCs. But then the one engineer spoke up. Would $40,000 cover it? The company found the money. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day, bye bye.